Good evening, Fernwood. It is your bite-a-wee buddy Neil here, and it's time for us to take a rest with another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we are watching episode 185 from December 17th, 1976. It is the end of the week, so let's see how we ramped up to it. It started with Mary setting the table in her own special way as Heather comes in to ask if she can get her ears pierced. Mary is generally against this idea, though she does investigate it a little bit. Kathy shows up and says that Heather should wait until she's married, which might be an indication of how she feels about her pregnancy. Mary asks Kathy if she would reconsider giving the babies up for adoption to the Adamses, but Kathy highlights that the child would have a much better life with a wealthy family. Mary comes to understand exactly what that money might mean for Kathy, but then Kathy ends the scene saying that she feels guilty. After the commercial break, HB and Mary set out to catch the mysterious woman named Big Honey. Detective Johnson thinks that Big Honey is in charge of a big prostitution ring, and that's why they're trying to catch her. Mary does a breaker 19 to Big Honey, but then fumbles the deal as Martha walks in and explains how tired she gets from walking the streets at night, being a decoy prostitute for the Fernwood Police Department. The three talk about how to get closer to Big Honey, and Martha gives it a shot on the radio, and she is a whiz at it. They are given directions to go to the Bide-A-Wee Motel and look for Mrs. McQueen, and that is the plan they set out to do. And we follow that scene up with another scene, which is a makeover. Mary and Martha putting on their gear to go out to be streetwalkers. It's pretty silly, but it's fun to see these two wearing completely different looks. And then we go to the Bide-A-Wee Motel, which has Mrs. DeLorean, who we last saw in the mortuary with Grandpa Larkin. Mary and Martha ask for Mrs. McQueen, and Mrs. DeLorean, of course, recognizes Mary as she always has in the past. Mrs. McQueen is not in the building, but has left job applications for Martha and Mary to fill out, and they do their best, though they don't understand some of the questions on the form. They are approached by a creepy man who thinks that a mother-daughter situation with him would be kind of kinky. And that's when they start to skulk out, though they do see a police officer and sneak out as sneakily as they can. And that was yesterday, everyone. We are ending the week with this episode. I've got some news that I just saw literally before I pressed record on the computer, so I'll talk about that afterward. But for now, let's end this week of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
What did I do to deserve it is all I'd like to know. What did I do to deserve it?
Nothing, sweetheart, really. You did nothing.
I practically killed myself for that man. Did all the groundwork. I came up with all the ideas. I did all the promoting. Finally gets himself over the top, and what's the first thing he does? He fires me.
Well, maybe he'll change his mind. You know, I just bet you that's what he'll do. Tomorrow, first thing, he'll be over here looking for you and begging you to come back to work. Sure.
Well, how stupid can you get? I blew it. It's over.
Honey, you mustn't blame these things on yourself. You're a good man.
Leave me alone.
Garth, please don't hit me.
I'm not going to hit you. I just want to be alone. I'm a failure. A failure at 32 years old. Boy, if my father could see me now, he'd spit on me. He did that once, you know. When I was 7 years old, he was showing me off to a bunch of his friends, and he said, "Name the 11 positions on a football team, son." And I just got so scared I went dry. I said left end, and I just couldn't think of another position. He took me home and he spit on me.
Oh, Garth, honey, I'm so sorry.
I said, leave me alone.
Garth, please don't hit me.
Who the hell's hitting you? See where my hands are? They're with me, kiddo. Huh? They're with me. God. My whole life is falling apart, and all you can think about is yourself.
I'm not thinking about myself. Darling.
And don't touch me.
I'm not going to touch you.
God. Why do things always have to turn out like this? 600 kids in my graduating class in high school, and I bet you every one of them is on top.
Garth, you know that can't be true.
Oh, no? Well, Adam McCormick has his own electronics firm.
He married into it.
I don't care how he got it. Adam McCormick has his own electronics firm.
All right. Adam McCormick has his own electronics firm.
And Peter Sampson's has 4 supermarkets.
I wouldn't give your little finger for Peter Sampson and 10 supermarkets.
Oh, you wouldn't, would you?
No.
You wouldn't give your little finger for 10 supermarkets? Well, let me just tell you something, Bugwit. Show me a man who wouldn't, in his right mind, who wouldn't give his little finger for 10 supermarkets.
Garth, you're hurting me. Please don't hurt me.
I am not hurting you. I am just rubbing some sense into you. I thought I'd try that. Maybe if I talked to you slowly and just rubbed you gently and massaged you, I could massage some sense into you. I would give my right arm, my entire arm, for 10 supermarkets, kiddo. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. It does.
You're lying to me again, Patty. You don't understand me, do you?
Yeah.
I'm not going to hurt you. If just once, you would make an effort to understand me.
Garth, your fists are clenched.
No. No, they're open. Now, is that threatening? I just want you to try and see the point I am making.
What point?
This one. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to try to imagine 10 supermarkets. The first is in a downtown area.
The first is in a downtown area.
And next to it is a shoe store.
Next to it is a
And on the
shoe
other
store.
side is a dry cleaners.
And on the other side is a dry cleaners.
And the next supermarket is in a suburban shopping mall.
Shopping mall.
And in the mall is a theater.
A theater.
And in next to the theater is a drugstore.
A drugstore.
And a bunch of tiny little shops.
And a bunch of tiny little
shops. And a big supermarket. You got those 2 supermarkets in your head, kiddo?
Yeah, and a bunch of teeny shops.
Tiny shops!
Tiny shops.
Okay. Now, I want you to multiply those 2 supermarkets by 5. Now, what is 2 times 5, kiddo, in terms of supermarkets?
10 supermarkets.
Good, Betty, good. 10 big, luxurious, beautiful supermarkets.
10 big, beautiful...
Luxurious
supermarkets.
Okay. Now, tell me, kiddo, tell me. Wouldn't you give a little finger like this, a stinking little finger like this, for 10 big, beautiful supermarkets?
Yes.
Thank God. Now, if I only could do it. If I only could just give my little finger for something really big. Oh, God, how I want to make it big. Daddy, be proud of me. Daddy, be proud of me.
Oh, Garth, I'm proud
Daddy,
of you.
be proud of me.
And I love you.
Daddy, be proud of me.
And I'm proud of you, Garth.
Daddy,
I'm
be proud of me, Daddy. Daddy, be proud of me.
I found something in my experiences, and that is that you can't have really a beautiful breakfast unless it follows right behind something that's real good. Like, well, last night, for instance. That was good. That was real good.
Merle, I get the feeling that you've heard the expression. I bet you say that to all the girls.
I have heard it.
Well, I bet you really do.
I don't know whether it's my personality or what, but a lot of people come up to me and they figure I've been around a heck of a lot, and maybe I have, but I'll tell you something, Annie. There's some places that you go that you never forget. Last night, the memory of last night will always stick to my ribs. Now, I want you to know that.
But don't you just feel a tiny bit of remorse about us being together when you're going to be married to Wanda?
Not at all.
This is your wedding day.
No, I understand that. That isn't the point. See, I've always felt that remorse should be held in reserve for bigger things in life. You take take Biafra, for instance. There's hundreds and thousands of people that are starving to death over there, and look at us. Then there's a situation in Ireland, Africa, Israel. See, those kind of things, I feel tremendous remorse for, but certainly not what happened between you and me last night. That was beautiful.
Merle Jeter, I bet you could talk your way out of a cage full of man-eating lions. Deaf man-eating lions.
Well, I'll tell you something, Annie. If that situation ever arose, I'd sure give it a hell of a try.
Well, I have a wedding gift. Important for Wanda.
Darling, what do you mean, a wedding gift? You didn't have to do that. What is it, for pot's sake?
You.
Me?
Mm-hmm. I'm sending you back to Wanda for keeps. Intact.
Well, I don't know about the intact part of it, Darling. Maybe a little late for that.
What do you mean?
Well, man didn't come through what you and I experienced last night without leaving a piece of himself behind.
Well, I'll look for it, and if I find it, I'll send it back to Wanda with the rest of you. Because now you're hers.
Sound like you're saying goodbye to me. But something tells me what you're really worried about is being unfaithful in your relationship to Wanda.
You bet.
That's wonderful. Gosh. I tell you, that is a wonderful, wonderful quality in women.
Merle, do you realize that what it would break Wanda's heart if she found out we were together after you were married?
Don't exaggerate it, Annie. Don't go too far.
Well, you know how she is.
Well, gosh, if that was the case, I mean, you and me wouldn't have any alternative. And we're just going to have to start sneaking around.
You seem to be having a great deal of difficulty getting the point, Merle. What I'm trying to tell you is that it's over, finished. We are never going to be together again the way we were.
I think I can accept that. Just have to. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Annie. I'm going to make a very real effort to be as faithful to Wanda as you are. I'm going to make that my goal.
Breaker, 19. Big Honey here looking for tippy toes. If you've got your ears on and are in the mood for some jaw jacking.
Big Honey, you got tippy toes, but I can't modulate with you right now. I'm already jaw jacking with a good buddy of mine who is about to be married.
That the same good buddy I modulated with before.
410. 10-4.
Put him on.
Yo!
You got a handle yet, good buddy?
That's a code name. Why don't you try Mr. Mayor?
Oh, no. Let me get something a little more subtle on that. How does numero uno grab you?
Aha. Well, numero uno, I wanted to wish you 3s and 8s and all other good numbers with your marriage.
That's good luck.
Oh, well, listen, I appreciate that, Big Honey. Hey, let me ask you something. If you're not busy later on, how about coming over to my wedding?
As a matter of fact, it's already on my calendar. We must have another good buddy in common because I've been invited.
By who?
I'm not saying, but I lay an eye on you later. Going down now.
Over and out. Down. She is really something else, you know that?
Mm-hmm. So are you. Numero uno. So are you.
Hello? Honey? Honey, is that you? What? I'm sorry. Sue, have you got another quarter?
Yeah. Hey, be sure to tell her about the new song in the recording session.
You bet I will. Hello, honey. It's me, Charlie.
Charlie, baby boy! Oh, honey, where are you?
I'm fine, honey. I'm fine. And just nothing better than hear your sweet voice calling my name again.
Oh, Charlie, I love you so much, and I miss you, darling. Oh, I just can't believe it. I mean, where are you?
I'm with a friend. His name is Joe Sue Tony. Get that? Joe, Sue, Tony. For short, we call him Sue. How about that? Is a boy named Sue, huh? Ain't that cute? I called to tell you that I'm coming home. I'm coming home, honey.
Oh, Charlie. Oh, fabulous, baby boy. Woo, doggy.
Honey, ain't that something? And honey, listen. Sue has heard your song. Sue has heard your song on the radio, honey. He thinks you are just terrific. He thinks he's very important, honey, in entertainment. He's from a big family in entertainment. You know, like one of those big families, you know.
You mean like the Osmonds?
Oh, no, sweetheart. You know, I mean, this is like in the business end of the entertainment field. You know, like they're in a lot of businesses, actually, this family. They're in laundry and trucking and meat packing and hotels, honey. Hotels, fancy hotels with nightclubs. And he's got a lot of big, important connections, honey, and he thinks you're marvelous.
Wow. Oh, that just sounds great. Really.
Honey, you'll have to speak up a little, honey. I can't hear you. There's a jackhammer or something going here on the street. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm on. I'm here. I'm on.
Honey, Sue, I want to tell you something. Sue convinced me that maybe I was in a psychological hole, you know, like with my problems and all. You know what he did? He bought me a new suit. He bought me a new suit and some fancy silk underwear.
You're kidding, silk underwear.
Who would ever think that you get a lift out of some silk underwear, huh?
Did you get a lift?
Well, not entirely, honey, not entirely, but I'm halfway out of the hole and I'm climbing. You know, just like a song on the charts. It's halfway up with a song with a bullet that's halfway up and climbing, honey. Anyway, Sue thinks you are terrific, honey. He's decided he thinks he wants to make you a superstar. Now, what do you think about that?
Really? Oh, that is fabulous. I mean, I could go to Vegas, I could go to Miami, I could go to Atlantic City. Oh, Charlie, bring him home. But most important of all, darling, please come home yourself.
We're coming, honey. We're coming, sweetheart. Sushi. Oh, my God. Sue?
Baby boy, what happened? Charlie? Charlie!
I better put out several boxes of Kleenex Boutique. Come here, help me. Here.
Here, hey, where's Wanda, huh?
Oh, she's upstairs. She's doing the finishing touches on her makeup.
Does all this make you think of anything, Martha?
Oh, yes, it makes me think of Princess Grace. You know, that former movie actress. I think that was my favorite wedding. Although I always did have the feeling that prince married her just for her money.
That wasn't exactly what I was talking about.
You said you needed some glasses.
Oh, Pat, perfect. Good. Perfect. Oh, hello, little Garth. Heather, your new best friend in pants is here.
How are you, Tom?
I'm fine, Pat, fine. It's very nice to see you again, Mrs. Hartman.
Oh, good handshake, Phil. Oh.
Heather, why don't you and little Garth go in the kitchen and have some punch and cookies? Come on, Garth.
Oh, Mary, everything looks so nice.
Do you really think so?
Oh, it's a wonderful party.
Mary? Oh, Mary? Can I talk to you for a minute?
Want to what? Is anything wrong?
Oh, no. I just feel kind of funny asking you this. You're already doing me this great favor by allowing Merle and me to stay here on our wedding night, but, well, I have another favor to ask of you. It means a great deal to me.
Well, tell me, what is it?
Mary, would you give me away?
Oh, Wanda. You're supposed to get married today.
Well, that's what I meant, Mary, at the wedding.
Oh, is it supposed to be that way?
Well, no. Traditionally, the father of the bride gives the bride away, but, well, since I don't have a father, I'd like it very much if you'd give me away.
You want me to be your father?
Yes.
Oh, Wanda, that is just the nicest thing that anybody has ever said to me. I mean, in my whole life, nobody has ever asked me to be their father. I don't have to wear a suit, do I?
No.
Tom.
What?
You will never believe this.
What?
I was just asked to be the father of the bride.
Well, I think that Prince Philip should have married Grace Kelly. And since he is the Duke of Edinburgh, then her name would be Grace Edinburgh.
Hello, Mary.
Hey, Grandpa, how are
I hope you don't want my bringing Lenora.
Oh, no. Hi. Hi. Oh, listen, remind me later to give you some books to take back that I've been meaning to return. Enough of business, though. Hi. Hi.
Your grandfather's such a dear. I'm just a sentimental girl at heart. I love weddings. I hope you don't mind.
No, I love them, too. Oh, Tom, this is Leonora DeLorean, our librarian.
Yeah, hi.
Isn't she handsome?
Yeah. Hi, Mrs. DeLorean. How are you? Tom Hartman. It's nice to see you as a couple for a change, Grandpa, yeah.
Mr. Hartman, I've been looking forward to meeting you for quite a while. Your wife is the most interesting woman in Fernwood.
Tom, why don't you take Grandpa and Mrs. DeLorean into the refreshments, and Tom, get her drunk.
Right, you two want to come with me? Why don't you sit down over there, and I'll get you some refreshments. Go ahead, sit down right over there.
The moment of truth.
Doorbell.
Reverend Davidson is here.
Oh, good.
Let's go.
The Reverend is here.
Oh, hello, Annie.
Hello, Reverend.
And you are the couple taking the plunge?
No, we've already plunged.
I had the loveliest wedding. Everything was perfect. But then I've been blessed. Sometimes I try to imagine what my life would have been like if I had never met Garth.
I bet you do.
I had a husband once.
I never had a husband at all.
Did you ever get the feeling like that you forgot something? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I have the strangest feeling that something is missing.
Oh, no, everything's great. I mean, everything's wonderful. It's going to be a wonderful wedding, Mary. You're doing a great job, yeah.
It's so sweet of you to say that, really.
Oh, it's wonderful, really, really. You're doing a great job. Terrific,
Thank
Mary,
you.
really terrific. I'm proud of you. Really.
Tom?
Yeah.
Does this remind you of our wedding?
Not a bit, no.
No, me neither.
Oh, promise me that someday you and I will meet together way up in the sky. Da-dee, da-da-da, dee-dee-dee.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in the sight of God, in the presence of this company, to join this couple in the bonds of holy matrimony.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Wanda and I aren't getting married.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. You know, that's the way things go nowadays. Anything goes. Where's the groom?
Oh. See, I knew something was missing.
Wow. Yeah. So, I have seen the episode that immediately follows this. I'll do my best not to do anything more than hint at what happens. I will say that it does pick up where we left off at the end, where Merle has not shown up at the wedding. But let's just talk about this episode. Patty and Garth are together, and Garth has not let go of his firing and the anger he feels there. It seems to have just been simmering since we last saw Garth with Tom. And while there's no actual strike shown in this episode, Garth is violent towards Patty. He shoves her a couple of times and is very emotionally controlling, to say the least. I don't know if there's a better way to describe the way that Garth interacts with Patty. If you know of it, let me know exactly what you think he did toward Patty in terms of how you describe it. If anything in this scene, we see that Garth was abused as a child by his father, and that is a part of his identity, that Garth wants to make his father proud, but then was abused as much as he takes it out on others. Now, I haven't seen Garth take out anything on Philip, but who knows? We barely see Philip. We see him later in the wedding. But so then we see Merle and Annie in a post-coital scene in the trailer, and Annie is making clear that she's breaking it off with Merle. Good for her. Merle doesn't seem to understand that Wanda has feelings, that even though there's some kind of agreement, that Merle doesn't have to pay attention to. This is where Merle meets up with Big Honey again and gives himself the call sign numero uno, which of course someone as narcissistic as Merle would do. We end this with Annie making very clear that she's not going to get back together with Merle. And then we get our call from Charlie to Loretta and telling her that he is coming home and that he is starting to feel better and that the makeover made a difference for him, even if he's not necessarily, erect or entirely functional in the erectile way, that he's starting to feel like he can make the moves forward that he's needed to, and that is good news for everyone, which is capped by the really bad news that Sue appears to be dead. So not only is Charlie's friend no longer with him, but that may complicate Charlie getting home, considering that when murders happen, it didn't look like, a natural death. When murders happen, typically the police will want to keep you around. So that's not something that I know about, but I'm just assuming based on circumstance that Charlie will have some trouble getting home, since, he was as close to a murder as possible. And that's where we are. And then the wedding. And something that was mentioned in the scene with Merle and Big Honey was that Big Honey was going to be a guest at this wedding. Now, I have my own clues that I have put together based on this episode and last, and I'm going to not say anything about that, but yeah, Big Honey is at that wedding. Maybe we can start guessing about it. But yeah, there's so many little bits in this. Again, it's another party episode like earlier this week where we see the points of view of various characters. We see interactions between Martha and Annie and Kathy about their marital experience or inexperience, as the case may be. We see Philip and Heather have another complete blow-off scene from Heather's side, and since they've repeated that beat twice in this week, I wonder if that's going to be a growing storyline for them or if it's just going to be a running gag. But it seems like the Gimbles, or at least Patty and the Hartmans, want Heather and Philip to get along, which you got a neighbor, it's nice to get along with your neighbor, but setting them up or expecting any kind of romantic interplay between them at this young age, or even at any age, would be a lot to expect. So at the very least, we know that Heather blows off Philip whenever she sees him and is introduced to him. So it may happen again, it might be a running gag, it might turn into a story. I can't tell you. I would love to see Heather have an actual story in this show, because mostly she's comedic fodder. And so many different elements, it's hard to take these party scenes and break them down. So I'll just go to the end of it, where Mary is walking Wanda down the aisle, and that's very sweet and kind. And the priest confuses Mary for the groom in this instance, and suggests that things go the way that they want to go, which legally wasn't the case in the 1970s, but I think fairly progressive. now we have the availability of same-sex marriage, but that's definitely not what we're up for in this episode, or at least the plan of it. There was a potential wedding that could have happened that didn't happen. I'm still salty about that. McCullough's forever. Merle is not present at this wedding, and that's the forgotten element. So we will see what happens next week. That's how it works. I've already seen the episode. I know we start at the wedding. I'm not telling you what happens. That's the end of the week. So our confusion, maybe through next episode, will still exist as I try to sort out the intros and outros. But the episodes will be presented in order, so thanks for putting up with a mild bit of confusion. Just make my life easier to not have to reshoot an intro, 2 intros. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for helping me straighten things out. We will see you next week in Fernwood.